welcome back in to the Mob Podcast. My name is Brian Oliveira. I'm joined with my co-hosts Josh Berger and Stephen Mew. We're so happy if you guys have returned this week or if you guys are first-time listeners. We're just going to get into a busy weekend in Bay Area sports. Going right over to the Giants, Saturday night, 2 outs, we're down 1, Donovan Solano. And Josh, I'm going to pass it right over to you on that.
Yeah, that Donovan Solano thing was ridiculous from the Saturday night's game. I mean, it was 2-2 count with 2 outs. We were losing 5-4, and Will Smith was pitching. He was a relief pitcher for the Giants a couple of years ago, and he threw an 83-mile-per-hour slider. Donnie Barrels hit it left field over the wall, over the paramedic vehicle, over the Chevron logo. Beautiful thing to see. Beautiful. And then you got the 10th inning with Crawford being on second. The pitcher threw it over second. He stole for third. Kevin Gausman comes up, and what does he do? With Brandon Belt on deck, his base is loaded, and I'm thinking, Gausman, don't swing, just strike out. Brandon Belt will do the rest of the work. Now he decided to take his matters in his own hand and hit a sacrifice fly just deep enough for Crawford to start flying home and sliding in for the home plate for the walk-off sacrifice fly. Beautiful, beautiful baseball.
Awesome.
Probably his first ever walk-off, I'm assuming, for Gausman.
Career, yeah.
A pitcher, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, who would have thought?
It was incredible. It was insane.
Going back to that 9th inning home run, Josh, the very next batter, Kurt, help me out here.
Yeah, Kurt Casale.
Yeah, he almost hits a walk-off. I mean, reason I bring him up and that just the way that the park was electric that night with everything that's gone on, that's just awesome to see that.
Like a playoff atmosphere.
Yeah, definitely. And we're going to be talking about the playoffs here in a moment. In fact, as we go towards that conversation, here's the Giants. Giants were on a bye today, same with the Dodgers. And by the way, that we're still up 1 on the Dodgers as we go into a series at San Diego tomorrow for 3, at Colorado for 3, then back home to end the season with the Diamondbacks for 3 and the Padres for 3.
Right.
It's all division and it's all winnable. So my big question is to you guys. I'll go Josh first, then Steven. I want to know your bold prediction. Who wins the NL West when this is all said and done?
I would like to say the Giants win the NL West. They gotta win out. They have to win out with the Dodgers bleeding down our neck.
They control their own destiny, one might say. Okay, Steven, what do you got?
Well, generally I'm an indecisive guy, so I'm going to continue with that trend and say it's a toss-up. I hope it's the Giants, but I don't know if I'm game to put money on it. So flip a coin, and that's my choice for the day. So
I had taken a screenshot of the Dodgers lineup earlier, and I was going to read off all these names, but then I remembered, hey, we don't glorify the LA teams around here. But I will say this: they're the defending champions. Respect is given then, and I'm going to say, man, it is so close. Again, not going to bet on it, but if the Dodgers end up sneaking in there and winning, hey, we did it back in 2014, being a wild card team, winning a World Series. But obviously we'd like to win the pennant, bring that excitement back to the city. Now, Josh, I know you had kind of prepped on it. Give me the scenario on the scenario for the playoffs, if we win the pennant versus the wild card, just how vast the differences are.
Well, I mean, it would make a huge difference. So the Giants need to win the division, because if we win the division, we got home field advantage.
Home field throughout, right?
Versus whoever we're going to play. And I think we'll have home field advantage throughout the playoffs, because we have the best, as of right now, we have the best record in baseball. And so if the Giants decide to slip out for some reason, that means we're going to have to play for the wild card, 1-game playoff versus
1 game.
Whoever it's going to be. It could be the Reds, it could be the Padres, it could be the Phillies. Who knows? But that means we will end up playing the Dodgers for the second round in LA. And you don't want to do that.
For me, what's crazy is 162 games. I mean, baseball. I'm not going to gripe too much, but come on, 162 games. And while exciting, 1 game, you get one game in the playoffs. That's wild.
It's like Lord of the Rings. 1 win rules them all.
And I mean, and then the crazy part is 2 of the best teams in baseball would then meet in the second round. So we probably don't have time to fix the world's problems tonight, but that's something I'd like to see change, where maybe you make that a 3-game series, maybe you
That's
make
what
it
I'm thinking
something
too.
that kind of just seems more fair
Yeah.
than that. But we're going to have an exciting couple of weeks with the Giants. We'll be watching that very closely. So again, starting tomorrow, the Dodgers are back in play. The Giants are back in play. It's going to be a mad sprint. And then I think come October 3rd, we will know what that playoff picture looks like.
Yeah.
So Josh, thanks for breaking that down.
Yeah, of course.
Now, over the weekend, of course, we also had the San Francisco 49ers, and man, we've got a lot to talk about, not only for what happened on the weekend, but our guys, Josh, Steven and I are doing some scouting reports on the Green Bay Packers as well. Real quick, just a second to pause and tell you where we are. This is the Mob Podcast. It's hosted by Josh Berger, Stephen Mew, Brian Oliveira, our last name initials making up that acronym. We want to involve you guys as things go. We've got actually some feedback from the listeners that will interject later in this conversation. But first and foremost, let's just talk about how the game yesterday against the Philadelphia Eagles started. And I'll just preface it this way: 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. Every time the offense went on the field, it seemed like my energy level went down.
Mm-hmm.
And every time the defense came on the field, it seemed like my energy level went up.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just start there with Steven. What do you think was the reason for the slow start on offense?
Honestly, I think this is the second game in a row now. Jimmy G just has slow starts, right? We had week 1 last week. Jimmy G fumbles on his very first snap. This week we have 3 possessions where he has three and outs in a row, and he's overthrowing receivers, not hitting them when they're open. So I think Jimmy G just takes a little bit of time to warm up. But fortunately, he played a great game overall. I think a couple of the key plays that I saw were on our 2 touchdown drives, where we had a 97-yard touchdown drive in the second quarter that Jimmy G had 2 quarterback sneak first downs in that drive, capping it off with an 11-yard touchdown pass to Juwan Jennings for his first ever catch, for a touchdown so I think he was a 7th-round draft pick last year out of Tennessee. So it's good to see him get his first catch. And
that's been a theme. That's been a theme. Rookies just first touchdown.
Yeah, Elijah Mitchell last year did well. Juwan, contributes here with a catch and a touchdown. And then on the second drive in the second half, where they had a 93-yard touchdown drive that ended in a Jimmy G QB sneak. And so I think what I saw from our 2 touchdown drives is Jimmy G using his legs. I mean, it was his first rushing touchdown in 2 years. He also had a very crucial third and one rollout. Play kind of broke down, and he got the first down using his legs. And so it's good to see Jimmy G being able to get out there, pick up some yards. And so, this is the first time that the Niners have had 2 touchdown drives over 90 yards in the same game since 2012. So that's pretty neat stat right there.
That Jim Harbaugh era? It's a Jim Harbaugh era.
That would be.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
My guy, Steven, with those insane stats. I love it. Again, you're here at the Mob Podcast. Real quick, guys, I want to go back to that end of the second half. Philadelphia Eagles. So I'm going to toss it over to you, Josh, with the defense. Let's give the defense some props, because what I saw in watching that 4-down stand is a couple guys in the secondary come up big, and then Fred Warner comes up and blows up Miles Sanders, the Eagles running back in the backfield, and we make a stand. That game easily could have gone to 10-0. And then to the fact that we came in, I think Debo was a star of that 97-yard drive. First of all, sitting in and catching a first down, like when he knew he was about to get his head taken off. But Josh, just speak more to, and then we go down and score a touchdown, which again, that's a 14-point swing when you really think about it. So 17 points worth of difference in the first half. It could have been. But anyways, Josh, what did you think about that defensive stand, and what did you think about the defense in general, only allowing for most of the game 3 points?
Yeah, that defensive stand, I think it really made a statement for the NFL, for the Niners. Like, hey, we may be injured, but we still got this. It's just a next man mentality with their 3, especially with that 4th down standoff. And so the defense as a whole was really good. It was I mean,
Well, I mean,
yeah,
the core is still there,
the
Josh, to your
core is still
point.
there. I mean,
You
yeah,
got Warner, you got Bosa, you got
Right.
these guys flying.
and they played very well without Jason Floyd, without Mosley, without Greenlaw. They did very, very well, and especially that rookie cornerback, Diamador Lenore. Yeah, he gave up that huge reception, but he played really well after that, and he did not get, he didn't get mental.
Razzled.
Yeah, he didn't get razzled. That's the word. Yeah, and that's very easy thing for a rookie to do, and I think he handled it like a champ. And I was listening to Kyle Shanahan today, and he said he handled it very well. He never go up, he never goes down. He's very level-headed, get the job done, kind of thing. And Bosa, he looked fantastic. 2 sacks and a forced fumble. Welcome back, Nick Bosa.
I mean, when you have him, the rest of the defense can just be freed up a bit.
Yeah,
So
and then Javon Kinlaw too. He looked fantastic.
yeah.
He had that blocked punt, right?
Yeah,
blocked field goal.
Yeah,
that was huge, right? Keep the game at 3-0 at the time.
Right.
I believe. And I think a guy we haven't talked about is Eric Armstead. Solid defensive end. And so I saw the stat today where he has 15 quarterback pressures so far in the first 2 games. So that's second in the NFL behind Las Vegas Raider Max Crosby. So that's pretty cool. I mean, even though he's not getting into the sack column, he's pressuring the QB, and so that's huge. That you don't really doesn't show up in the stat sheet really. So that's kind of neat to see Armstead being able to get some pressure on the QB.
Right.
Gentlemen, real quick, I want to, sorry, Josh, real quick, this is a historic moment because I heard stat sheet. This is a historic moment for the Mob podcast because we're actually going to bring in some fan interaction. And this week, Cousin Justin from Pleasant Hill had a question. How are we going to get, or maybe he said it a different way, but I'm going to rephrase it. How are we going to get Mr. George Kittle involved more? So another way to put that is also, how is Kyle Shanahan going to get him more involved? 4 receptions for 17 yards for perhaps one of the most ferocious guys. I mean, I just watched Patrick Mahomes the other night, and albeit that's Patrick Mahomes, but just get the ball into Trevor Kelsey's hands and then let him do the rest of the work. Exactly. How are we going to get Kittle in better spots to just do what the man does, which is just run people over and get yak?
Yeah, I think Kyle Shanahan, he needs to get back to that 2019 style with Kittle, because in 2019 Kittle dominated the league, and I think it's because in the first 2 games we've noticed that it's been a pretty run-heavy game, and that Kittle is one of the best, if not the best, blocking tight ends for run offensive runs. And so, but since we're so depleted on running backs right now with Hasty and Mitchell and Sermon and all those guys being out, I think they're going to start throwing the ball even more. And Kittle is going to be the man, the target for Jimmy G.
Yeah, shout out to my cousin Justin for asking that question. And so, I think my take on that is, he still had 4 catches. It was only 17 yards. He had a 8-yard reception that was his high. So he was involved a little bit, but the Eagles defense was pretty solid overall. They didn't give up any, ginormous plays. And so Kittle had 4 catches in the first game as well. So I think the field will start to open up for him a little bit. Hopefully we can, get Kittle on some tight end screens, just get the ball in his hands and let him go, because we know with him, with Debo, with Ayuk, who I know has had a first slow 2 games, but they're the yak boys, they're the yards after the catch boys. So give him the ball, let him go. And so it's been cool to see Debo, and just with that, Debo actually has 157 yards after the catch in the first 2 games. And so that's tied for best in the league with Arizona Cardinal rookie receiver Rondale Moore. So again, these yak bros, let them go, and hopefully Ayuk will and Kittle will kind of start being more involved in the passing game in Green Bay in future weeks.
Yeah.
Well, hey, that segment, it was great because again, fans get involved. Great minds must think alike, where we have these players we want to see succeed. And now turning the page to the Green Bay game next week, we're going to need it, because it looks like the Niners have been front runners in these. They did come back from a small lead against Philly, but generally speaking, we've built up a lead and we've held on to it. Well, I don't know. Last score I saw tonight, at time of recording, the Green Bay Packers had whooped up on the Detroit Lions pretty good by getting out to a substantial lead,
Mhm.
in the 35-42 point range as far
Wow.
as what they need to score. So, going back to the theme of, are we going to need to open up the offensive playbook a little more? What do you guys think as we start to look at next Sunday night football against the Green Bay Packer football team?
Aaron Rodgers looked like the MVP Aaron Rodgers tonight, and that was kind of terrifying to watch. But the Niners,
You don't
do
want
have-
him mad. You don't want him mad.
We don't
I'll
want
tell
to
you that.
make him mad, exactly. And and the Niners have a tendency, especially in the last two matchups, one being the regular season and one being the playoffs. I'm disregarding the last season because that was just a fluke. But we dominated Aaron Rodgers and the Packers with George Kittle running that wheel route up the middle with nobody around him. So that can happen again. And we got Nick Bosa back, and he dominated Aaron Rodgers when we played them when we were all healthy. So I think it can be done, but that's not to say that it's gonna be a close battle. It's gonna be tight. It's because you got Aaron Jones, you got Devontae Adams, two probably best players at their position. I don't know what you have to say about that, Steven.
Yeah, I mean, I think our defense is going to be super important, right, to this game because we know Aaron Rodgers, throwing 4 touchdowns against the Lions.
Yeah.
Aaron Jones, I believe, right? Or no, I think he might have had one to the tight end as well.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
Anya.
nerd alert, but my fantasy team, I went up to that game going
did
against
you?
Aaron Jones.
Uh-huh.
And let's just say afterwards I had lost.
What?
Well, because Aaron Jones had
that's true,
5
yeah.
combined touchdowns.
Oh,
So
Did he have
gosh.
5? Oh my goodness.
Oh,
crazy or
Um,
something like that.
I think
Something
it's
crazy.
4. He had 4
4,
receiving
4,
touchdowns,
okay.
I believe.
Yeah.
But I mean, we played the Packers in November last year, 2020, and they beat us 34-17. Nick Mullins was our quarterback.
Mhm.
Aaron Jones threw for 300 yards
Mhm.
and I think 3 touchdowns.
Rodgers.
Sorry,
Rodgers,
my bad.
yeah.
Aaron Rodgers. Did I say Aaron Jones?
Yep.
Aaron.
We got Aaron Jones on our
mind.
mind.
Yeah, we
I'll
do.
tell you.
Aaron
He's a
Jones is
bad
explosive.
man.
So we got to be careful for those running back screens because that's how Jones scored a lot of his touchdowns. Just a little, running back screen, and so our defense has our work cut out for them. But hopefully we can keep it close, right? I think our offense obviously needs to
Step it up.
to step up a little bit,
Yeah.
right? Because we know the Packers are going to score. So hopefully we can contain Rodgers enough where we can keep the game close overall, and
Yeah.
our offense can, the Packers just beat the Lions tonight, right?
Right.
We beat the Lions high scoring. So the
Right.
Lions are,
Yeah.
they're not very good. So
Mhm.
kind of take it with a grain of salt, but
Right.
it should be a great Sunday night matchup for our home opener.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm pumped because it's we struggle against mobile quarterbacks, but we thrive on pocket passes, and that's exactly what Aaron Rodgers is. And so I think we're going to do very well if we could just contain him and just pressure him with Armstead and Bosa and DJ Jones and all those guys. I think we'll be okay. It's just an offense that I'm a little worried about.
Yeah, I mean, make no mistake. I think it's going to be a shootout one way or the other, and we got to
Right.
have to keep pace with them.
Mhm.
If you look at running backs, it's Aaron Jones starting for them. What do we have? I mean, quickly, we don't need to dwell on it, but Elijah Mitchell, if healthy, Eric
Right.
Sermon, if healthy. So a lot of asterisks right now around the running game. I think our passing game will be fine with the targets that we've got.
Mhm.
But hey, let's look forward to next week, and we might have a special edition with some fresh off of the Sunday night game,
We'll
some
see.
analysis.
We'll see.
So guys, we again want to thank you so much for listening. See us on YouTube. You're going to want to see us on YouTube, like I said.
Mhm.
But no, in all seriousness, we're going to bring it to our last words here pretty soon. So any last thoughts on the Packers 49ers game? Let's just go around the room and you have to commit to, I'm just saying money line. Don't say a score, just Niners or Packers. Are the Niners going to be 3-0 or the Packers going to pip us there?
I'm not indecisive now. A Niners 3-0, baby. Let's go.
Oh, baby, come on.
Yes, sir.
Let's go.
That's how I feel too.
All right.
I trust them Niner boys. Niner game.
That
Bang,
makes
bang,
3.
Niner game.
That makes 3 of us. Okay.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna start you guys off on the last words. I had an interesting, and one of my boys, when he hears this, he'll know what I mean. But I had an interesting episode with just the beauty. First of all, let's give the credit and the beauty. let's thank God for DVR. Okay, so
Oh,
DVR, I had
amen.
every game tape.
Amen.
And you know what time it is. Ring the alarm, ding, ding, ding. It's Brian Oliveira's soccer talk time. I'm going to tell you what happened with my DVR. And thank goodness I decided not to turn the game off, but instead just fast forward through that halftime. Because my guys, you know it, Bay Area, the San Jose Earthquakes, we were down 3-1 at half. And, you know, that's a tough mountain in soccer to climb. So I had the decision to make. Do I turn this game off? What happens? Start up that second half, 4 minutes in that second half, we get that next goal. Now, this would be my lesson to any of you soccer watchers. When you're down 2-0, okay, or you got 2 goal, the next goal is very key. Because if it goes 3-0, you can pretty much count it goodbye. But in this case, they got the goal back 4 minutes in the second half. And within 10 minutes later, they had actually scored again to make it 4-3. So we're talking, I'm a big soccer guy. I'm not down in football, but a lot of people go soccer's low scoring. Well, that's 28-21 by my count. 4-3. Quakes win it, coming back with 3 goals, making up a 21 point, if you will, deficit. And now they're about a game and a half out of the playoff spot. So with I believe about another 10 games to go, much like baseball, it's getting real close. And we're kind of, I hate to say it, but the Quakes are kind of run like the A's. So we got this type of roster set up where we are just barely going to squeak in that playoffs if we're going to squeak in that playoffs. But, we've won the championship twice before. So I'm really hoping the Quakes, led by some of the new guys, this cat, the cat's good when in soccer when they got one name. And that was our guy the other day scoring 2 of the goals. So you're a good player when you got one name. I would love to just go by just Oliveira or Brian. But I can't pull that off. So anyways, last words. I'm going to throw it to, because Josh wasn't ready last week, I'm going to hit you with it, Steven. What are your last words here on Ep 2 of the Mod Podcast?
Dude, my last words, I was sharing with you guys. I'm just pumped for October coming up in a couple weeks, right? Especially with NBA season starting. So with the Dubs coming on in a couple weeks, I'm super stoked for that. Obviously we got NHL coming up too, baseball playoffs, NFL continuing. So with NBA coming up, look for us to be able to hopefully get tons of Warriors content out to you guys. We're going to hopefully do a season preview, looking at the roster, highlight, top storylines for the season with the Dubs. So I am stoked for that, guys.
Oh, that's a done deal. We'll be covering the season preview. Josh, bring us home with your last words. My man, what do you got?
I got 4 words for you. October baseball is back.
Oh,
It's
Josh
back,
is excited.
baby. We're in the playoffs. Giant torture is back and stronger than
goodness.
ever. I feel like I'm about to have a heart attack every time I watch the Giants play.
You are?
Yeah.
Well, we got to summit at some point. We need to bring your dad. If anyone knows Frank Berger, this man lives and breathes his baseball. And I love watching a baseball game at the Burgers. I think I was living at your guys' home when we won a World Series, and it's like every night was torture, but it was like a beautiful torture. And Frank's yelling at the TV, and we're all freaking out. But at the end of the day, we got to pop a little champagne, so that was awesome.
Yep.
So I can't wait for that. Hopefully, we'll get to see each other in person. But been loving, guys. Again, the Mob Podcast. We're coming to you on Spotify. We're coming to you on YouTube. This is just week 2. Now, our sound technician and our sound engineer is telling me Wednesday morning is going to be when this drops. So we're on September 20th now. It will be available September 22nd. Who knows, guys? If you guys keep calling in with questions, keep bringing content, it might motivate Josh to get that out one day earlier. So you guys just keep knocking on our doors, and we would love to keep talking to you guys and bringing you fresh takes on Bay Area sports, but really just showing the love for this community and for the sports scene. We're going to be continuing to bring it every week. So stay tuned. Guys, we're about out of time. So I'm going to end it on a good note and just say, love you guys, and we'll see you next week, everybody. Love you all.
Peace out.
Bye, everybody. Mob out.
Mob out.